Cowboys, bright-eyed as hawks, always on horseback, with loose arms raised and swinging as they ride. This is the romantic image of the West, and the words are from the pen of the first American poet to see that the English language, evolving on the frontier, befriends, as he put it, the grand American expression, Walt Whitman. In his first collection, Leaves of Grass, Whitman celebrated the pioneer spirit of America. Oh, you youths, Western youths, so impatient, full of action, full of manly pride and friendship. Pioneers, oh, pioneers. Whitman was caught up in the American Civil War, tending the wounded in a military hospital near Washington. After the Civil War had saved the Union, Americans worked to unite the country literally with a railroad. It happened in 1869 at Promontory Point, Utah. The age of mass travel would open up yet another frontier for American English and cause a further leveling of American speech.
There are quite distinctive accents in Maine, Massachusetts, New York, the Carolinas, and the Deep South. But in the 19th century, when Americans began to up stakes, as they put it, and go west, these accents began to merge, which is why to this day, in vast regions of the United States, west of the Appalachians, you hear basically variations on one kind of American speech, the flat-voweled, clearly enunciated speech of the Midwest, the voice most of the world knows as American.
The age of the iron horse shows the power of a mighty new technology to open up fresh horizons for the English language. All fired up, getting up ahead of steam, letting off steam. The engines might be in the clear, backtracking, or going off the rails. Curiously, it's one of those areas where American and British English took different tracks. On America's railroads, not railways, it's ties, not sleepers. Freight, not goods. Car, not carriage. Switch, not points. Baggage, not luggage. Conductor, not guard. The railroad found a special place in America's imagination, putting the country's energetic spirit on wheels, sweeping its people and their language to the remote corners of the Union, stirring the melting pot of American English.
This train is bound for glory, this train. Now this train is bound for glory, this train. Whoa, this train is bound for glory. If you ride it, you must be holy. This train is bound for glory, this train. Wow, wow, wow.
The glorious age of the steam train has inspired a whole range of metaphors. A driver who didn't have the right of way was sidetracked. A single track gave us the one-track mind. A place too small for a station was a whistle stop. Now we speak of whistle stop tours. When engineers talk of streamlining, executives of railroading, drug addicts of mainlining, and politicians of the gravy train, they're all using railroad slang. If you're successful, you make the grade. But when you're down and out, you've reached the end of the line.
This train don't pull no gamblers, this train. Oh, this train don't pull no gamblers, this train. Oh, this train don't pull no gamblers, neither do we pull no midnight ramblers. This train don't pull no gamblers, this train.
man's career provides a remarkable summary of the adventures we've described. He was Samuel Clemens, better known to the world as Mark Twain, a name he adopted from his early experiences as a riverboat pilot. Next, he headed west and went mining in Nevada. He worked as a journalist in California. He would have seen gambling, fighting, drinking, and tall talk. Finally, famous and well off, he took the railroad back east. "I've been an author for 20 years, he wrote to a correspondent, and an ass for 55. A generation after his death, Ernest Hemingway wrote, "All modern American literature comes from a book by Mark Twain called Huckleberry Finn. There was nothing before, there has been nothing as good since."
Until Mark Twain, there had been dialect writers who wrote as such, you know, with absolutely strangulated phonetics that were almost impossible to read. And what Mark Twain did, he was the first writer to take spoken American and use it in literature. In other words, use not only the dialogue, but use his own accounts, because he was very often doing it from somebody who was himself, like Huck Finn, illiterate or semi-literate.
Huckleberry Finn begins his own story with these words. "You don't know about me without you've read a book by the name of The Adventures of Tom Sawyer. But that ain't no matter. That book was made by Mr. Mark Twain, and he told the truth, mainly. There was things that he stretched, but mainly he told the truth. That's nothing. I never seen anybody but lied one time or another."
This was an appalling thing when it came out. No family, no respectable family in Philadelphia, Boston, New York, or the South would have the books in their house. It was like a very bad, almost an obscene comic strip. It was curiously the English who spotted Mark Twain, as somebody said, the American Chaucer. He transformed written English. You can write vernacular English and print it, and it will be acceptable.
The next great episode in the making of American English happened not in the far west, but on New York City's Lower East Side. In the last decades before the First World War, the city was the focus of a massive non-English speaking immigration. They came here in their millions. In this new world of hope and opportunity, they quickly became assimilated. Many of their names were Americanized. They learned American English. Their children picked up the accents of their American schoolfellows. But while that assimilation was happening, the Europeans who passed through Ellis Island added something to the language of their adopted country, and ultimately to world English. Decade after decade they came, the Germans and the Italians leaving the poverty and oppression of the old world, and the Jews from Central Europe fleeing the pogroms of the 1880s. These were the immigrant generations who passed through Ellis Island, the huddled masses yearning to breathe free, remembered on the Statue of Liberty. In peak times, as many as 15,000 a day filed past the immigration authorities here and acquired a new American identity. The echoing halls are empty now, but in their day, 2.5 million Jews, 4 million Italians, and 5 million Germans passed through this melancholy gateway to the New World.